Today on the Tiger Football Report, head coach Rob Ambrose and I will preview the Tigers' home opener against the Red Flash of St. Francis. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Football Report starts now.
And here we have 1893 from the makers of Pepsi Cola. I'm gonna swirl it. I'm gonna smell it. I'm just gonna take one small sip.
Kinda seemed like more than a sip.
Yeah, let me show you. Refined.
1893, made with cola nut extract and real sugar. Boldly blended colas.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Wise Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and it's locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl and chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Hello again, and welcome to the Tiger Football Report, filmed inside the Towson Sports Network studio. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. The Tigers are all set to open up their home schedule this Saturday. They'll take on the Red Flash of St. Francis University. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose. And Coach, first game under your belt against South Florida. Now you come home to the friendly confines of Johnny Unitas Stadium for a night game, which is always big for the students. I know you're excited to get back at the U.
There's something about being home. We even talked about that during practice, that being at home, being able to win at home, being able to go to the student section, band, and play that fight song. Even talking about it just kind of gets a hair on the back of your neck to stand up. And the kids are excited to be back. They're excited to be home. And they're excited to see our fans. The
other thing is, this is your only home game in September. So it kind of makes it even more important.
You got to make this one count because we're busting, flying, or traveling somewhere.
Now, the team you're playing, the Red Flash, St. Francis, they've never beaten Towson. There have been times where Towson has really annihilated them. Last year, they gave you everything you could handle, but you came away with the victory. This year, they're coming off a 10-point loss, but they had to fly to Montana to take on the Grizzlies, who were ranked 13th in the country. And they had them going into the fourth quarter, ended up losing 41-31. So obviously, this is not the same St. Francis team we played 20 years ago back in the Pine Bowl.
No, they are full scholarship. They are well coached. They have great athletes, great linemen. They have probably the #1 kick returner in the country. He did it to him again twice, and he plays DB. He's single-handedly kept them in the game. And anytime anybody flies 2,000 miles to go play the number 10, 13 team in the country and almost walks away with a win, you better respect him.
In one of the most hostile environments in FCS
football
at Montana.
It truly is.
Now, you're talking about Lorenzo Jerome. He had a 76-yard kick return. He had an 86-yard kick return. The 76-yarder was for a touchdown. He also had 2 interceptions. So, as you said, he was a key member of that team taking on the Grizzlies.
He is one of the most impressive football players I've seen on film in my career. He's that good.
What is it about him that impresses you?
He sees the field in a way that I've never seen anyone do it. That he does not look at individuals. He does not look at an area. He sees everyone. And quarterbacks do that. Lo and behold, he was a high school quarterback and a really, really good one, but they moved him to defense. They made a returner. He's got great speed, great vision, great balance, and great ball skills. There's not a big hole in this guy's game at all. He alone is worth the price of admission on Saturday. He's that good.
Zach Dreyer is their quarterback last week, 13 of 25 for 184 yards. When you see him, what do you see?
Talent, strength, and guts. That guy stands in the pocket, lets it go, and I watched him, he took a beating and still just stood there and delivered and never flinched, ever. He's a leader. You can watch how they play. Those other 10 kids respond to him. He doesn't play the position of quarterback. He is a quarterback, and they're good because of it.
You look at them, and they're coming off that loss. They're also coming into a place where they barely lost last year. So you know their confidence is going to be up, and they're going to walk on that field expecting to win the football game. Your guys, they're going to be pumped because they're coming home for the first time this year, and they want to win a football game. When you go back and you practice this week, what are the big things you work on from what you take out of the South Florida football game?
You spent the first part of the first practice working on the things you didn't do well, schematically, technically, physically, and going over, making sure that should we have to play someone that's going to do some of the similar things, that we have a plan in place. We're technically sound, we're schematically sound in what we're doing, and then we're adding to our repertoire of the plays that we may or may not run on Saturday based on what we see and what our kids can do. And the rest of the time is acknowledging who individually on their offense, on their defense, we need to be aware of at all times. And they're actually good enough on both sides of the ball that have Class A plus individuals on both sides of the ball where we need to be paying attention to the individual, not just the scheme.
One guy we didn't talk about in the show earlier this week was Jake Ryder, who was named the Specialist of the Week in the CAA. Averaged just under 50 yards a punt. He put on a Sean Landeta-like performance on Saturday night in Tampa.
I've been around the game for a long time. I've never seen, personally, on the same field, I've never seen a punter do what he did. As a matter of fact, the talk with the media building up to the game was all about South Florida's punter, who was a Florida State transfer that's supposed to be the greatest punter that's ever been to South Florida, and I'll take mine. He's better. I mean, he was so good with his foot, I almost thought he was throwing the ball. And he had tremendous accuracy, tremendous hang time, tremendous distance. And our coverage squads were awesome. Special teams has been a little bit of annoyance in the past, and sometimes we were man-to-man overmatched. And I'm going to say this week against them, we were overmatched. But our coverage units were awesome, and it had a lot to do with the kicking and a lot to do with the other 10 guys. It was an all-around team effort there.
What is it about Jake, though, that has changed him from when he first came here to where he is now?
Well, let's put it this way, and everybody sitting here watching, we all kind of grew between 18 and 22, and we all grew a lot between 18 and 22, physically, mentally, emotionally. We're not going to do Spiro short jokes here, okay? But Jake has grown up. He really has. And if you go back to his true freshman year, which was 13 when he kicked, he was not very good right up until the last game. He was great in the national championship game. And from that day forward, he's increased his game. His distance has gotten better. His technique's gotten better. He's more consistent. And now he's a weapon.
He certainly is, and that's one you love to have, even though you would prefer not to punt the football. You mentioned Shane Simpson is your backup.
Yes.
Kick returner.
He is.
Lyrics Clue is your regular guy. Will we see Lyrics this week or in the near future?
If everything goes well, you'll see him this week, but you will certainly see him in the near future.
What makes him a good kickoff returner?
Oh, same kind of thing as Jerome. He's got great eyes, he's got great speed, great quickness, great balance, and he doesn't look at a person or a place. He sees the field. And when he drops a gear, it's those guys that have that extra gear, and Lyrics got one.
We also saw in the game against South Florida, he didn't catch a pass, but we saw a true freshman at wide receiver, Morgan Scroggins from Calvert Hall.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you decide? And then Robinson, the running back, the freshman running back, also played very well, had a 12-yard run.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you decide whether or not to bring them into a game being true freshmen?
Numbers. If you go back to last year, we played Elon, we ran out of running backs. And right now, Markel Dickerson hasn't played football in well over a month. So Vito's got a beat-up hand. Shane's had his ups and downs. Grayson's a short yardage guy. There's no way we're going to make it through the year with just two true tailbacks. And we decided if we're going to break his redshirt, we're going to break it, let him play against the toughest competition and see what he's got. So he answered that bell very well, and so did Morgan, that he wasn't intimidated at all. And it took him about 2 plays to go, oh yeah, this is just like football. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter how big the stadium was. And once he got that, he was good. And Nick Gray's a true freshman too. He played as well. So the numbers at wideout dictated that these guys would have a chance, depending on how they competed in camp. And they're understanding the offense is good enough that, yeah, physically they can handle it, mentally they can handle it, and we're better because of it.
All right. We're going to end every show this year. I'm going to throw a name at you from a Tiger past that you either coached or played with.
Okay.
This past week in Tampa, they had a alumni get-together in the hotel on Friday night. Well over 100 people attended. It was a great, great event. So I'm going to throw out a name of a guy who was there who looked like he could step on the field today. And
I know
not
who's
miss a
coming.
beat.
I know who's coming.
Aaron Bates.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, Aaron Bates, All-American. And he was smart as a person as good of a football player he was, if I said that correctly. He was a great football player. He's really, really smart. He's a doctor. Lives outside of Jacksonville with his wife Lee. That they've been dating since I've known him. And it's hard to pick what he's better at, being a doctor or being an ex-football player, because he's pretty darn good at both.
And he could hit.
I'm sure he still can.
Also, we want to congratulate a couple of Tigers. Terrence West looks like he may be the starting running back for the Ravens. And Jordan Dangerfield, after 3 years of trying to make the Steelers, has finally made it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we congratulate Jordan, as good of a kid that has ever played here at Towson University on and off the field. The Tigers and the Red Flash are set to kick off at 6 o'clock inside the home of the Tigers, Johnny Unitas Stadium. The home opener is First Responders Night. All first responders receive complimentary tickets. All tickets to the home opener, $9.11. Head over to TowsonTigers.com or call 1-855-TU-TIGER. The game will air starting at 5:45 on CBS Sports Radio 1300 and TowsonTigers.com. That will do it for us today on the Tiger Football Report. Thanks, Coach, for joining us, and good luck. And next week, we'll talk about the 1-1 Towson University Tigers. As always, go Tigers.